Welcome back to LCS Challengers League presented by Subway, and game number 1 of Wildcard in Cincinnati Fear is now in the books, and it was a pretty back and forth slugger beat.
It kind of was, but it really came down to the fact that Philip was quietly getting very fed, and of course Lens had a really good early lead that I think Fear used really well to secure a lot of early breaks and also some early kills. I mean, most notably, that rotation when the second Drake was free for them, they move Lens and Daption up to the top side, and they end up getting some kills off of it too. Really good stuff.
And I just want to say, man, Chad really did enable a lot of what Fear wanted to go for in the early game, and that just came to the fact that, like, flashes were burnt very, very early on because of that early skirmish we had at level 1. So what does Chad do? He pads straight towards that bot lane, and at the same time that they're going for that ward, surprise, it's Chad jungle, baby, and that really just got things going for Lens.
It did, and we'll see if they're going to be able to get it going again in this next game. I mean, we can take a look at the banned champions. Of course, we're playing Fearless, everybody, and it means that these champions won't be available for their respective teams, and we'll have to see what the strategy switch-up is going to be. I mean, buy Ahri for Wildcard, big combo, unavailable, and they lost with it, which feels bad.
I'm going to do this one as a shout-out to Mad Magical.
Here it comes.
It's not Fearless beatdown, because Fear's right there.
I hate you.
I love you.
I have nothing else to say. Let's just go to draft, man. You just ruined it.
Let's just go.
God.
Well, for one thing, not going to see the Orianna on Fear's side, and I want to point out that team fighting mages is what I really look forward to when I see Toasty hit the Rift. Another one of those is Nico. He's very, very proficient at that champion. We always talk about the scouting combines before the season and how he caught our attention on that specific champion. But team fighting mages is what really brings the best out of Toasty, because he can find those angles and get his team back.
Listen, Eric.
Hear me.
Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. But I like when Toasty plays a Kali. I am a simple man. Yes, he did it, and he played well. They lost, but it wasn't his fault. It's kind of the champ's fault, but that's not important. It was a while ago. All right, pull up the stats. Go ahead.
I want to see. I'm curious. How much Call
Yeah,
was he
100%.
playing?
Well, I swear it was just one game. I'm not even playing. The champ is...
It is one game.
Yeah. See,
Okay.
see.
You know what? It's not the best of 3 sidekick, but I appreciate you putting out some of the spicier picks there.
Just throwing it out there, you know? Just
Yeah.
Just keeping the people informed.
I personally like anything that allows Toasty to play around Chad or vice versa, because I think them as a duo are very, very competent when it comes to kind of just running the Rift. And we'll see what does go through us. We've got to take a look at the bans coming out now. So far, targeting some of those power picks in both the Xin Zhao, Orianna, was the Udyr. Bot lane focus for Wildcard, however. Take away Kalista, Ashe, and the Senna. So that leaves up that B1 Karma locked in for Cincinnati Fear.
And I'm wondering too, it could be a setup for Chad to play Wukong this game. I think it ends up being a really strong pairing as well. I know Karma Zen is like the big combo, but Wukong is really strong right now. And I mean, when you have an enchanter with those kinds of melee fighters, junglers, or really champions in general, it's just a really good combo. So I wonder if Wildcard will maybe take that away, give it to Winnie.
Interesting lock-in coming out here. Tristana. As
I
an
wonder
R1...
if that's Trist mid, because that's a big thing that Darkwings played a lot of last year, and I ain't talking about Darkwings, he had a rough year. But when he was on Tristana, he looked pretty good. This might be a way for him to try and fight for mid-prio that Karma is really good at getting.
I'm curious if he's played it this year. Nope. No games on Tristana just
Someone
yet.
has, but not him.
So 4 games last year that he was able to pull out. And as you said, he won 3 out of those games with a 5.2 KDA. So a good call out right there, beat down Tristana. And also what it does enable is a little bit of a flex right here. Can take it towards the mid lane. If you fancy yourself a different matchup, you can take it towards the bot lane. I want to see it mid because it is into the Karma.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm in agreement with you there. It's especially nice too with the Ivern. I'm expecting now it's just going to go mid lane. We have a double marksman set up there for the side of Wildcard just because of how much I think a champ like Ivern really thrives with those picks. I mean, it's looking like maybe all into scaling with the Jinx popping up again. First it was Wixie, and now it's going to be Aaron. I mean, he's looked pretty good on this champ in the past.
All right, so we're going to have double marksman. And Winnie is going to be facilitating those marksmen on the team fights as well. So pretty interesting. Once we do get the scaling going, as you said, this can blow up big time. But the thing is, you're going against what a Karma that can enable whatever jungler that we're going to get later locked in for Cincinnati Fear, as well as the Xayah, which doesn't need that much time to get going. Some great engage, of course, by Daption being on that recon. So even though they have that capability, I feel like they need to get something to keep them safe, at least in the earlier stages of this game against Cincinnati Fear.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what the Tristana is kind of meant to do, because if you can get that pressure mid, it's a little harder for Chad to have that impact around the rest of the map and on these neutral parts of the map. So we'll see what they end up locking for him. They do get rid of the Graves, and I really like the takeaway from the Lulu, just because having that double enchanter set up with 2 marksmen,
yeah,
even if you're like 2k down in the early game, like you scale so insanely. So it's good to recognize.
So many shields. Not only that, but Lulu actually provides the crowd control. If you do get onto the back line, polymorph, have a good day, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You're cute, you're cuddly, I'm going to give you a pet, and then I'm going to slaughter you. And speaking of pets and slaughtering, it's going to be the Alistair. It's going to get locked in for Wildcard. That's going to put the Alistair over towards Doxa. So it does give Wildcard this very, very punchy engage, as well as defense for their double marksman that they picked up.
100%. And I really do like that one. It's really good for extended engages as well, because of the Unbreakable Will allowing you to last longer in these fights, get multiple rotations out of on your spells. And wow, that's an exciting one. I mean, it kind of fits the paradigm of what I was talking about. Usually we see Chad pair this one up with an Orianna, but it kind of fits with the Karma as well. Another melee champion. I could end up looking good, but okay, there you go. Something with more priority, because I think that's pretty important.
So I love this lock-in from Chad. We'll see how it works in the context of the team, especially going against a wild card. But this is a Chad special, dude. This is the champion that he has pulled out so many times in the past that he randomly likes to just pull out when he thinks there's a viable moment, there's an opportunity. A lot of that was because of the Orianna combo you had mentioned before. I know Toasty and Chad had worked on that. If you watch some of Cincinnati Fear's YouTube channel, they actually have the comms, and you can hear some of the behind-the-scenes stuff from when they make those calls and how excited they were about the Rengar Orianna combo. But yeah, again, this is a Chad special. He loves this champion. He's pulled it out so many times in previous seasons, and it's definitely something to get hyped about.
For sure. And in Wildcard, they round out the draft with the Gragas, which I really like. This comp from Veer basically wants to go into you, and this is what I was saying in the last game when Philip played it. Really good at breaking up the fight, creating space. You have double marksman with Ivern to Alistar. This game is all about Dark Wings and Aaron, and Wildcard comp is going to do a really good job at insulating them. So as long as they leave this early game with a minimal or even a small loss, a small deficit, I should say, they don't care.
For Wildcard,
great spot.
It's just get someone to man the International Space Station, man. You're going to need as much space as possible for both Dark Wings and Aaron. Yeah.
All right.
Where do you think we're going with this, man?
I had no idea, honestly.
It's all about protecting the marksmen, get them in a good state, and you're going to have a good time. But here we are on to the Rift. Who got this one? Spam in chat. Fear for Cincinnati Fear, or WC for Wildcard.
And right, this is a game point here for Cincinnati Fear. If they win this one out, they send Wildcard to that lower bracket. Immediately getting rid of their first life here in playoffs after their first series. It's worth noting too, during our single round robin regular season, these teams did meet up. Wildcard actually beat them 2-0. It's really testament to how much Fear has grown since then, that they're able to take that first game off of them. And it would be an even bigger testament if they 2-0 them right back when it counts in playoffs.
So a little bit of the track record on Chad's Rengar, at least for this season. Has played it 3 times on the season. Got 2 victories, was looking undefeated up until he went against Maryville University. That was the first one to actually take a loss from Chad's Rengar this season. But hey, he looks good on the champion. He's very confident in it. He's pulled it down in competitive, so it's not something new to him. And he's got a Karma to buff him up. So I know I've been really sticking on this Rengar, but I get super excited when I see Chad on this page.
I mean, I do like when players will play their signature champions that, you know, aren't as popular in the meta, so I'm kind of with you on that one. I think this game, it will be a little hard, but it is possible to make work. Again, the space creation tools on the side of Wildcard, I think, are very strong. I believe Fear will need a lead as we exit this early mid-game to really ensure that they can secure this 2-0. But we'll just have to see. I mean, right now, Darkwings, he's getting that mid-push that we were kind of expecting when we saw this pick in draft. And it's going to make it a little easier for Winnie to get that first clear off.
Ignite's going to be used onto Lens. Does have his flash available, so he's not in real danger. But the big thing here is he's going to be cut away from the wave for a while. Dox and Aaron on level 1 are able to get control.
Yeah, really nicely done. It's very often said that level 1 Alistar isn't a champion. And, I mean, that's kind of true. Not ideal until he gets access to all his spells, and usually Zyra Khan has a really strong level 1. So it's a big deal for Aaron and Doxa to get that kind of advantage and able to get that kind of push. It's just going to make it easier for Winnie to fight for Scuttle Crabs and secure even one single Drake. Because when you have a comp that scales well, I mean, that's just a free win for you if you get it.
Jumping right into the fray is going to be Darkwings. It's a couple autos in, the reset on the jump, and it's first blood! Darkwings with a solo kill on Toasty.
Fine, Toasty not respecting, not flashing away, thinking he can make that one happen. But it's a nice play there from Darkwings. I will say Winnie helped him. I don't know if we call that one a solo, but other than that, it is a nice chunk of gold into Wildcard's pocket. That's what we take away here. That's what matters.
Drive-by shield.
Hey,
keep each other in check. Exactly. We're just going to keep bringing this back up after every arrow.
Yeah, that's what it's worth. That's what friends do, man. They call each other out.
And no room for a Cole is what I saw just now. Darkwings actually purchased one for a second, then did the refund and went for the double longswords instead. But great start out of Darkwings. And now Chad has an angle down in the bot lane.
He is spotted well in advance. So it is going to be pretty easy for Aaron and Doxa to walk away. I mean, Winnie's here, level 4 as well. And with Darkwings having that pressure, the double longsword, I mean, there's no world where you fight for this crab, or honestly even try for a bot lane gank. So this early lane pressure from Wildcard's mid and bot lane has gotten this for them.
Oh man, Toasty, life is like a hurricane. As Darkwings continues to hop forward and just lay into Toasty.
Yeah, and this is brutal. This is the response that Wildcard have cooked up to that karma that we're seeing have such high priority. Oh my god.
Darkwings is bloodthirsty, man.
I like it. This is what I mean. Like, it's, you know that dog meme that Cubby posts all the time about Gamsu? Little tiny dog and then big buff dog. Little tiny dog, I swear, is like Darkwings on mages, and then the big buff dog is Darkwings Tristana. He's just a different player when he's on this champion, man. It's unreal. Yeah,
he's a completely different person. You see Toasty is looking for these tether angles, and Darkwings just calls him out on it right away, either jumping forward or jumping out. Toasty's having a hard time, and this is going to end anytime soon.
No, it isn't. And it's cool now, too, because Winnie is pretty free to just continue farming, getting towards that level 6, getting access to Daisy as soon as possible. And so far, Chad hasn't had many angles to really fight or gank. And again, I'm really stressing how imperative it is that Fear are the ones who find some kind of lead or advantage early on. Ivern, 2 marksmen, it's like it just looks so good. So good.
Imagine 30 minutes in. That's a Wildcard dream right there if you get there with a lead, man. That's a disgusting amount of DPS that's going to be coming in. You just look at the Baron and it's gone. You look at the Dragons and they're gone. Fear got to avoid that point of the game. And that requires activity. It's just Chad. There's not many angles he can take. He's still looking for one in the mid lane, but Winnie's been just all over the place. Now Chad's going to hop onto Winnie, gets a good burst of damage onto him, but nothing real meaningful right now for Chad Jungle.
No, he's gonna deny Winnie that first touch on the grubs, but I mean, ultimately, we just call them grubs. It doesn't matter. But the point is, Winnie, it's just a neutral objective he's not going to get access to. It is nice for Chad to be able to get these, because that extra structure damage will be important, especially for someone like Philip, who's going to be getting pushed. He's going to be interacting with these turrets.
Coming in, has to take the angles to get away from the feathers. He gets rooted up. He does not have the ultimate just yet.
Hello.
Now here comes Winnie over in the bottom end, waiting for the cooldown of the Headbutt Pulverize. Jumping forward, a nice root found onto Daption. Headbutt Pulverize comes through, gets away from the Chompers before they engage. And that is going to result in Daption staying alive.
Still, props to Doxa for being able to cancel that recall with the vision that they had on that bottom rush. Had they been able to get it off, Lens and Daption would be in a comfortable spot, walk back to lane, and fight for this Drake. But instead, it's going to be a free Drake for Wildcard.
It's kind of funny thinking back as to why Doxa is playing the support role. For those of you who don't know, Doxa does have a history in CLoL, was a big mid laner, had a great Zoe, was good on Assassins as well. Then suddenly a top laner, then suddenly a support.
80 carry.
And what we discovered,
there was a bit of 80 carry, yeah.
Bit of 80 carry as well. What we discovered is Doxa was literally just auto-filling. Whatever the team found, Doxa was like, I will fill in for whatever you're missing, man. And this time it happened to be support. And it's just kind of surprising at how well it's syncing up with Aaron. Now Chad goes for the invade, gets caught out by Doxa and Aaron, chase the kitty cat away. They'll claim their blue buff.
Damn, I kind of want to know if they saw Chad on vision or something, because that's just a smart move there from Aaron and Doxa otherwise to just defend the blue buff like that. Chad ults, gets no value. Darkblades doesn't care that Chad is here. Like,
what is this man? Who is he? Where has he been all season? Oh, he's going to perish for it, but it's still,
okay, fine.
still. Man, that guy.
You gotta hit him with the thumbs up for that. That is so deserved, this Chad.
Oh, he's got to steal the name of Chad away after making a play like that. He just jumped in his face. I mean, yeah, it was disastrous, but man, was it entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun to look at, and I respect that aggression. And, I mean, as time goes on, even those small number of auto attacks are going to be doing a lot of damage. But overall, I mean, back to what you were saying about Doxa, I gotta say, when I saw him play Doxa, when I saw Doxa play support before, oh, hold on. One's in trouble.
He's fine. You got it.
Also, I will say, we get confirmation that Chad did walk through that bottom tri-brush. Okay. They did see him on a ward. That's why Aaron and Doxa were defending the blue. Shout out production for the confirmation.
All right, hit me with the Doxa point now, man. You kept me waiting for too long.
You're right. My bad, dude. I was just going to say, when I saw him play support last year, I thought, damn. All right, that sure is a support player, I guess. But I think this split, he's actually grown a lot into the role. And, you know, people will say what they will about the support role. It's easy, inflated, whatever. But I still think, you know, you give props where props is due. Doxa's actually looked pretty good. I think a lot of Wildcard's early game success has been because of him and how he syncs up with Winnie. That's what I wanted to say.
And how he syncs up in lane with Aaron as well. I think both of them have, like, brought out better players within each other. And it's been great to see for the growth in the scene and the growth that we've seen from Wildcard. But getting back into the game and what we're going to be looking at next. It's 2 minutes, 30 seconds before we do get another dragon spawning. For the most part, it has kind of felt that Winnie has had Chad's number. You know, you talked about the ward earlier. Winnie's been able to stifle a lot of Chad's attempts, and now Winnie looking in this mid lane.
There's a sync up again. You see Doxa and Winnie are in the area, setting up some vision, and getting this first look on the to keep bottom side under control. I actually think they want to try and make a play for these Raptors.
And it's so frustrating if you're a jungler trying to deal with an Ivern, just because he can use his passive and get the smite right away. And that's why you needed the extra pressure there from Cincinnati Fear. They're willing to fight for those Rafters, push away Winnie to prevent him from doing any of that.
And right now, and there isn't really much to fight for except maybe the Void Grubs. You're so insistent, Eric, on the top side of the map. That technically no, but...
All right, it's the smaller ones, yeah.
There you go. We're a minute 30 away from the Drake, though, so if we're going to see a play come through, I think for either team, it's got to be in the next 15, 20 seconds, just because I think this next Dragon is going to be pretty important, especially for Cincinnati Fear.
Daption taking a lot of damage, does get stunned up, but doesn't get caught by the Chompers. So he will be able to escape. And you can see Aaron and Doxa have been both playing very, very aggressively. More so Doxa, who's been looking for these plays time and time again, like we had earlier with the recall. This is giving a Wildcard a pretty strong bottom lane thus far. Cincinnati Fear utilize the top side, however, to go ahead and grab some of these Void Grubs.
I think Chad actually secured all 6 of them as well for Fear. You're going to get a
All
lot of
6
those.
what?
Yeah, we all 6 avoid grubs,
Thank you.
Eric. And yeah, we do have confirmation that that is the case. So you get a lot of turret damage, a lot of structure damage overall, and you'll get the extra amount of the Twitch chatters if you insist on that being their designation.
And
Are you happy now, Eric?
I'm
This is what you
very
wanted?
happy. This is everything I've ever asked for, people.
Really?
But also, like, I don't know, dude. I was, like, forgetting the name, and you just called me out on it, so I felt
No,
like I had to call
I
you out
said
on
you
something.
could do it. I gave you encouragement. Don't you switch the narrative like that.
Beats
I
a hater,
said you
guys.
could do it.
Beats a hater.
Oh my god.
We hating on this mid lane. That's what we're doing right now for Cincinnati Fear.
I mean, I would be begging if I was Toasty. I'd be like, guys, I need help, please.
Please
This guy-
stop this
this-
damn Tristana.
Yeah, it's important that Fear get this first look, though, because if they can set up a push play, blow someone up instantly, they can get that first Drake, because they really need to start Drake stacking on their own side. Losing that first Drake, I think, was really hot, is really tough for them in their win con this game. And the fact that they're just kind of gently nudged away from this bot side river, feels bad.
Wildcard chasing away Cincinnati Fear. And the goal here is going to be Dragon. Aaron's going to catch that wave over on the bottom side and then rotate back over to the rest of the squad. And that's the danger. Darkwings is willing to press his rocket jump if he sees anything that remotely looks killable. So right now, Chad, in that mid-river bush, we'll just throw out the Bola Strike and Wildcard sweeping away Cincinnati Fear.
And Darkwings has to answer this mid wave, so it's just this kind of back and forth of pushing waves, but not actually securing anything. Lens and Dap should cancel their recall. I imagine Lens has gold to spend, but at this point, honestly, I don't even know what these guys are doing. Are we just like, are we just watching each other? Are we just waving?
This is the least Wildcard and least Cincinnati Fear game that we could possibly have for an opener.
Wildcard are literally like, this is Winnie we're talking about. They fight all the time over everything. Fear had the most 3-game series in the league, I'm pretty sure, in the regular split. And we're 1-1 in 14 minutes? I feel robbed.
Do we bring the dog meme back up? This is Winnie on Ivern. It's just a small pupper now.
I mean, honestly, like when I saw it in the draft too, it doesn't really strike me as like the Winnie champ, you know? This is the guy who wants to pull the trigger. He's the one who wants to fight.
I think Vi. I think.
I think Vi, Xin Zhao, you know, stuff like that. But I think he's been playing fine. He hasn't been full sending it on Ivern, which is the only real concern I had, and this is good.
All right, so remind me who got all the Void grubs?
The nameless topside objective was gained fully and totally by Chad, as Kai is pointing out with the zoom in. Thank you very much. And Chad, of course, is going to be able to get this Rift Herald as well. I will say, Wildcard also got their second Drake, a comp. This comp getting halfway to a Dragon Soul, and it feels fantastic. And the hope for Fear is that you can get some use out of the nameless topside objective so that you can do more damage to these turrets. Lens, I want to see him maybe try to hit this turret, but it's too dangerous.
Just one auto Lens. We got to get the Twitch chatters out, man.
I know, I want to see them.
All right, here comes Philip to defend his tower. And this is what's going to make the siege of Cincinnati Fear a little bit devastating now. Here comes Lens, looking for the angle. Darkwings has to rocket jump out. And Wildcard, again, will find the disengage.
It's going to be a pretty easy one, to be honest. Not much really gained there. No vision laid or anything like that. We're just going to be going back. Now we have our lane assignment switched up. Interestingly enough, too, without turrets having fallen. So the real advantage here kind of leans over towards Fear, who have a small gold lead building for themselves. They have the Rift Herald that Chad is sitting on as well. And the idea I'm expecting is to have them drop it mid sometime soon so they can get set up over this bottom side.
Cincinnati Fear in their side of the jungle. And for the most part, you don't really have to pressure unless you have someone completely out of position, because there's nothing to really fight for at the given moment. Still 3 minutes before that dragon does come up. Cincinnati Fear pulling back, and you know the look right here. Is this for the Twitch chatters? No!
Okay, we saw some Twitch chatters. Let's go. Okay, we got it. You know what? Shout out production. At least we got to see a little something. And, you know, we got to keep it interesting while these teams are kind of looking at each other.
While we're at it, Twitch chat, give us your Void Grub name. Just type that in the chat.
Yeah, okay, real though. What do you call it? Like, do you call them Twitch chat? Do you call them Kevins like some people do?
All right, here comes Chad. He's going after Darkwings. A nice flash from Chad. Make sure he doesn't get pushed into the wrong direction. Darkwings is still going to survive, though.
Yeah, and that's tough. I mean, Fear, their comp, they need to be the one to be making plays. Chad's ult is a great way to do that, but it's hard. Darklings played that one really well. Oh!
Right, here we go, going after Aaron. A nice engage finds Aaron's demise, and Docs can do nothing but watch. Wildcard now stepping up. Quacker looks for the engage onto Philip. Explosive cast pulls him right back in. Darkwings is a little deep. You might have fed Darkwings to the Gator, but no, he's able to kite. They're able to make space, and it's a shutdown going over to Quacker.
So it ends up being that 1-for-1, and Fear won't get the space to hit this mid-tier 1, but they got the bottom tier 1, and they're about to take this tier 2. This is a lot of gold for Fear, who have finally broken this equilibrium we had for these last couple of minutes. And, oh.
All right, Chad. Playing with fire right now. You don't want to take this fight because Darkwings is not far behind. But Daisy's not allowing Chad to leave.
Oh
Chad
my
is getting bullied, just bounced all around the place. Disrespectful. Wildcard will take down the Fear jungler.
Yeah, there was a moment where I was like, oh, surely Chad gets out, right? But unfortunately, he wasn't.
Boing.
I will say, Chad, because he was part of that, was able to pick up a lot of gold. Look at his items. He's already reached his second one there with the Eclipse coming through. He is actually individually quite strong. He's in a position where the right setup, he could insta-kill someone like Darkwings or Aaron. The question is, can he have that opportunity? Winnie has been covering his marksman very well this game, so has Doxa. Will Fear actually get the opening to capitalize? We saw a little bit of that in the mid lane, but a lot was committed to make that happen, and that's not something Fear can consistently do.
By the way, Beat, I got an update.
Okay.
Nuggets, Grubbies, and Telegrubbies are some of the names that Twitch chat offered for.
Okay, Telegrubbies is actually quite good.
Telegrubbies is kind of good, honestly.
I'm a big fan of that one. What were the other ones? You said Grubbies?
Nuggets, Grubbies.
Nuggets, Grubbies. Okay, not bad. I can accept
Grubby
Nuggets.
Wubbies.
Okay, sure.
I like the Telegrubbies. That's a pretty good one. That's a go-to name right there.
That's the winning one in my opinion.
All right, well,
third
set up
drag
here.
is up.
Yeah, coming towards the Drake. Dox is going to find the knock-up on the Daption. Chad tries to go in, but he's absolutely stopped in his tracks and slaughtered by Wildcard. Darkwings with the rocket jump, kills the Gator, goes after Lens, will pluck the feathers right out of the wings, and Toasty forced to run away.
He's going to try and poke, but he can't actually do anything about this. Wildcard narrowed the gold deficit they were in by quite a bit. They're going to get themselves that soul point secured, even with their jungler going down. And it just feels like this game is, in the series rather, is inevitably going to that third game. They just get stronger and stronger as time goes on. And this is just yet the latest example that Fear in straight up fights don't really have an angle to do anything. And okay, Quacker, that body slam, I see you, dog. That was nice. He interrupted the jump.
He was stun locked the entire time.
Yep.
Explosive cast came right after it on top of it, so Chad didn't even get to get an input in.
I know. It's just some good stuff from Wildcard. And Fear, woo. And they are starting to drown a little bit in this game. I feel like we're getting close to the point where YOLO Desperate Baron Flip territory. You know what I'm getting at?
Yep.
Working title.
No, let it be the real title. Just stick to your guns there, Beat.
Oh, yeah? Wait, what did I say? YOLO Desperate Baron Flip? I already lost the mana.
It might be the only thing that's going to save Fear right now because, I mean, it's two marksmen. They're scaling up. We're 20 minutes in with Wildcard closing in on that lead. Things are going to get desperate for Fear quite quickly, and I think your YOLO Baron Flip Yeetus Maximus is going to be the answer as Chad.
Dude, that's good.
Gets pulled right back in, and look at that crowd control. Chad just has to flash out. Lens is still getting a lot of feathers in. We'll find double root as the Super Mega Death Rocket gets some more damage through, but Fear are still on the retreat, and Daption goes down.
And the Baron's going to end up going Wildcard's way. I mean, it is early, but this is Ivor 2 marksmen. They're going to be able to take this one down very, very quickly. And unless Chad has the YOLO steal of Spring Split, Fear are going to get this one. Or rather, Wildcard are going to get this one.
He doesn't have his ultimate. There's way too many bodyguards. You saw what happens. Trad tries to jump in. He jumps right into the belly of Quacker and gets bopped about. So he doesn't take that gamble. It's going to be Wildcard wearing purple.
And they're going to be able to get a lot of gold off of it as well. I like this. You have a wave top. You insta-take this turret, and then you're going to recall and spend all that gold you earned. You're going to get to some big item spikes. Now, Aaron surely will be at 2 items, probably, and then some. And this Jinx is only getting stronger as time goes on. Same with Darkwings on this Trist. Fear are down 2k, with Wildcard having the Baron buff. 2 minutes, and in 2 minutes, Wildcard's soul is going to come up. I can't express how hard this game is for Fear, man. There aren't words.
No, this is feeling pretty over. I mean, when you have situations where the champions that are supposed to be on the back line are denied at every angle, there isn't that many ways back into this game. You don't have that Rengar-Orianna combo that can team fight, that can destroy a lot of these 5v5s. Right now, you're running on fumes, and Wildcard are going to keep exponentiating that lead.
Yeah, and at least something that's going for Fears. Wildcard are grouping up really hard to knock down some of these structures. You can see it. Philip is taking full advantage of the 6 Void Grubs. He takes turrets down really quickly by himself as well. Yeah, I said it. Whatever, man.
Void Grubs. As now Wildcard in the mid lane. The Siege still going to go forward. That top tier 2 now getting wasted, but here comes a teleport. He's looking for Darkwings.
I like it.
I don't think he knows. I think Darkwings is in the dark right now as to the Gator that awaits in the swamp. Hops right over. Ruthless Predator gets the stun, and Darkwings gets shut down, but the base still under attack beat.
I mean, for what it's worth, you're going to lose this mid inhibitor no matter what. There's still so much Baron buff for Wildcard, so it's good that Fear are able to get something for it. Able to take Darkwings out of the picture and get a shutdown. And this is a minute before the Drake. You have an opportunity now to push some of these waves out because Wildcard, they're looking for the reset. They have a lot of gold to spend. And now this gets you that first look on the Dragon Pit. Something you desperately need because you haven't seen it all game in Cincinnati Fear. You need to deny this soul.
So silver linings for Cincinnati Fear. It's the mid inhibitor that went down, which is usually where you're fighting for priority in the first place anyway. So they're not going to be far from that angle. And take a look at this from Daption.
Guys, like, please talk about this, guys. This is a good angle. You have some deep vision there too.
It's gonna be a deep flank, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is important. I mean, this is what we saw Chime do to win the first game there in our first series of the day. You get this angle, you're able to get a big ult combo onto Aaron, onto Darkwings. You have a really good shot at winning the fight.
Not spotted yet.
Yeah, no clue.
Secret Agent Daption, who still hasn't been spotted.
Oh, they just have no idea.
He's playing with fire right now. And they got to be wondering, because they see 4 members. They got to be like, where's Daption at, man?
Yeah,
where's the engage?
Quacker's looking around.
Yeah, he's trying to find him. It's not in the brush. Daption might go for it right now, because when he's low, this is it. Here comes Daption. Surprise!
Yes,
able to get a 3-person charm. This is Fear's best chance when he goes down. Philip has to bail. Aaron will be able to take down the Croc. And now the rest of Fear gets slaughtered by Quacker and Doxa. Still Lens is up. Still Lens is bringing the feathers. Excited is going to be Aaron. Puts out the zap. Doesn't land onto Lens. Now it's up to Toasty. Now it's up to Lens. And they got the weight of the world on their shoulders. And they collapse to the pounce of Wildcard, who will close out game number 1.
And that was the best look that Fear were going to get, and they still couldn't close it out, Eric. We're going to a game 6. What better way to start off playoffs day 1?
Goodness gracious. Wildcard. They will not allow us to have a short day. I say game 1, I meant game 2. Wildcard will take the series to a tie. And now we got 1 more to go. Game point for both of our squads beat down. What a show. What a showdown.
It's just been a great day of games so far. I mean, that game, it was a real tough one from Fear from minute 1. And I mean, credit to Wildcard, credit to Winnie for playing something a little more different from what we're used to seeing from a player like him.
Oh, yeah.
And playing it pretty well there on the Ivern. It was some good stuff.
Let's pull up that last dragon fight, because this was honestly the best chance you're getting given the circumstances for Fear.
I mean, for what it's worth, watch Daption in this fight. You can see he gets the angle, and Winnie is the one who is low health. Part of it is that Darkwing's got a really good ultimate with the Buster shot, so Philip's only choice was to actually go for Winnie and not Aaron. He ends up protecting his fellow marksman and made it so that the bulk of this team's damage is still up and running.
And one thing I also noticed is Daption was just a pixel away from charming Darkwings. I don't think it changes the result of the fight, but that is a lot of damage you could have taken out to potentially try and bring that one back. So a very close exchange between both these squads. We were expecting this one to go to 3 games. It's going that way. We're going to throw it over to short break. When we return, we'll get into game number 3 and the final game of the day between Cincinnati Fear and Wildcard.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Everybody in Twitch chat.
Look at the camera.
This is the guy. This is the guy making the run to the LCS, to the LCS Challengers League. Round of applause for Scary Jerry.
Shout out Collegiate. We're coming for everybody. We're gonna win. Also, Shogo's been in the Twitch chat of every match that we've had, so shout out to him. He's our biggest fan.
Nice.
Can't wait to take St. Thomas out in the finals.
Kind of going back to the Lucian item here in the bot side, this sets up really nice for Lucian's ultimate, because the support item he'll grab is the damage amp, so you throw down that auto, you know, you get the slow, you pump your ult.
And
oh boy.
flash, doesn't matter if you die, and Wixie gets pierced through the heart. Victory in your first series of the split. It's a little bit of a top kingdom, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he was completely capped both games. He was just a slaughter, what can I say? But it's really good to see you guys again.
Top laner is going to show up as teleports are channeled. Now jumping in is Jenkins right on the chime. Bleeds him down so damn quickly. Quad is here, and a double kill as the sword slices down from Surdy.
I want to go to you as an individual, as we do see the Grim Reaper running around behind you. Thank you, Shochi, for being the mascot for the team. Still clumped up. They haven't gone down yet. Shochi's just free firing. Jumps in. Over the knockup from Niles. No knockup combo for Spyrax to look for, and he even goes down. Shochi with a double kill, making a triple kill. Reset City versus Supernova's mid laner. Quadra kill to Shochi, and they will ace Maryville.
There is a reason that I said it's going to be a Shochi specialty game. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.